Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. Good Friday afternoon, West Ham fans. Us and the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Another week has almost gone. Congratulations, people. And we've got the weekend and no West Ham to ruin it this weekend. But obviously, still internationals. Obviously, England play tonight. I reckon probably more chance of Bowen getting some minutes tonight than the next game, personally. But that's just my humble opinion. But it's the Hammers headlines in association with kneesupmotherbrand.com. Don't forget to check them out. Lunchtime today, did a sort of live show. It was quite fun, talking about just kicking the breeze back for an hour or so. Why not? And then this morning, I did a little bit about news that there's at least 6 players on the transfer list from West Ham for January. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts about that. We're going to talk about this weekend as well in a bit, but let's start with internationals, shall we? Obviously, we're in the midst of the 2-week international break. There's another one in November for you to look forward to as well, just to mark your card. But a couple of Hammers played some minutes over the weekend, over the last few days. Sai Ben Rama earned his 24th Algerian cap. Must be stacked up like that now. On Thursday night, as Algeria thrashed Cape Verde 5-1 in an international friendly, he came off the bench in the second half as Algeria's preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers and also the AFCONs in January stepped up a gear. In Europe, Tomas Soucek and Vladimir Sufal suffered the disappointment of a 3-0 defeat for the Czech Republic in Albania as their hopes of qualifying for the 2024 Euros took a significant knock. They both started, but a red card for one of the Czech Republic team with the score at just 1-0 to Albania left the Czechs facing an uphill battle, to be fair, despite the Czech Republic side having around 65% possession and registering 13 shots on goal to Albania's 7. It was the home side that ran out relatively comfortable winners. That defeat puts them third, the Czech Republic third in Group E, a point behind second place Poland and 5 shy of leaders Albania, who top the group. The Czech Republic side do have a game in hand, however, and that's against the Faroe Islands on Sunday. Meanwhile, there's a couple of academy players also involved in their sort of age group internationals across the last couple of days. On Wednesday, Sean Moore started as Republic of Ireland under-19s, beat under Scotland under-19s 2-0 in Spain. The winger just playing about an hour, just under an hour. And then we had Michael Forbes and Patrick Kelly, both featuring for Northern Ireland under-21s. Forbes played the whole match as they beat Azerbaijan under-21s 1-0 with 10 men, while Kelly was substituted with 13 minutes left. He started the game, but was taken for 13 minutes, and they've gained their first win in their qualifiers for the 2025 Euro under-21 Euro Championship Finals. There we go. So obviously we've got this weekend, potentially the big clash of Alvarez versus Kudus. That could happen. And various others, obviously Jared Bowen making potentially some minutes, Alphonse Areola as well. So, yeah, keep an eye on the channel. We'll give you a little bit of a debrief on Monday and hopefully report that no one's been injured, because that's the worst fear of the international break. Talking of international break, one rumour that came up in the last couple of days is Tomas Soucek to Inter Milan. Okay. Which was widely poo-pooed by some people as just speculation. But according to Corriere dello Sport, Tomas Soucek leaving West Ham for Inter Milan would not be a surprise. The media outlet reported on Thursday that the Inter director, let me get his name right, Piero, I'm not going to get it right anyway, is it? Piero Osciolo was apparently due to be in attendance for the Czech Republic's game against Albania to watch Soucek up close, apparently. It stated that the obstacle of signing Soucek is not significant, but the London club will still have to deal with the will of its player. It would not be it said that at 28 years old, it would not be surprised if he wanted to try to make the leap to a more prestigious team. And Inter, in this sense, could really be the ideal stage for his ambitions. Anyhow, obviously, he had last season not a great season at all. We're seeing a much more motivated, it seems, a much better Tommy Soucek, back to sort of, the levels he was when he first joined the club, really, I think. He's got, I think he's got 4 goals, 2 assists in 10 appearances, so 6 goal involvements in 10 appearances at club level this season. You know, he's always seen as the blocker, maybe, for why we're not playing Kudus at the moment. So it could be, but then he's just signed it. He has signed a deal, but it's not official. Another 4-year deal. So, but that might be just to maintain his value, really, rather than otherwise. I think his actually contract would have run out in 2025. I think, but. So apparently, the Inter Milan sporting director, was in attendance watching him against Albania, who lost 3-0 to who Czech Republic lost 3-0 to. So maybe not now. Who knows? But I think it's gonna be an interesting one to see. We spoke about it this morning about the belief that a bid is going to come in for either Soucek or Naya Faged from the Saudi Pro League in January, and started always looking at alternative to Sabo from by Leverkusen. Obviously, Hincapié as well has been person. We've had Harry Maguire basically issue a "come get me" to West Ham in a press conference. So we're already looking at replacement, which is the way it should be. It's the way it should be. Someone like Zuma, for example. Maybe a slower pace of game in a warmer climate may suit him better in terms of injuries potentially. I think he's only been available for 45 games of the 75 that he's been potentially selected for. So, almost, well, not half, but pretty much, so is that great? I know people go, always another captain who's gone, but he's only just been made captain for 7 games. And if he left in January, someone like Mavropanos would come in to start, as his replacement, and then they look to bring in maybe someone in January who could do another job like a Tatsebo, for example. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that one in January. We've got a few months to go before then, haven't we? But we'll see what happens. Someone who is impressing, I mean, Tomas Soucek is impressing definitely this season, but someone else who is Freddy Potts. Freddie's on loan at Wycombe Wanderers. He's already scored more goals than his dad did in his entire footballing career, so because he scored 2. First one being an absolute banger, and the second one being a relatively, simple tapping, but doesn't matter. That's 100% more goal return than Steve Potts did in 500 games. Anyway, he is impressed during his loan spell at Wycombe Wanderers. The 20-year-old has been in superb form for Wycombe, and he's already been compared to Eze by the League One club. I believe Eze was on loan as well at Wycombe before making the jump. The Athletic claimed that Potts' new teammates have already been amazed by his ability and how quickly he settled into life at the club. A loan spell, they actually said he was almost like a new Cesc Fabregas. Take that. I'll take that. No doubt at all. As always, I think loan spells, if we can get the youth team out on loan, it just gives them so much more experience and does them a world of good. We've interviewed many people who have went out on loan in their early formative years at West Ham, and it makes a huge difference. Rather than, and that's my view about Divine as well. I'd think I'd prefer for him to go out on loan in January, get some minutes, get some proper minutes. Even if we do sell Danny Ings and Barmer moves up one. I mean, look at how lack of game time that Danny Ings has had this season. It doesn't make no difference. He's still, he'll be 3rd rather than 4th choice. I'd rather Barmer goes out, gets knocked about by some big defenders, can show what he can do. I mean, I remember when I know it's a different people in terms of their size and stuff, but look when Jermaine went to Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth on loan? Yeah, it was Bournemouth on loan, wasn't it? And had like the goal scoring. Didn't he equal or beat Pele's all-time goal scoring record or something like that in terms of consecutive games scored? Came back absolutely firing on all cylinders. There's no doubt they get experience playing every single week in the first team against physical sides like you would do in the lower leagues will make a better player, will make Freddie come back a stronger midfielder, and you need strength in particularly in the Premier League midfield. So let's see what happens, but it's all looking good for Fred. All looking good for Fred at the moment. And as I said, on Saturday, Sunday, we've got a very special interview, a 2-part exclusive to the West Ham Network, My Hammers 11, with the one and only Joe Cole. Part 1 will be out tomorrow morning, so make sure it's already set up in you can set a reminder on your if you're subscribed to the West Ham Network already. That'll be on the channel now, and then part 2 comes out on Sunday. And obviously we'll be looking. Part 2 is more focused around the second spell at West Ham, and also his My Hammers 11. Obviously, England tonight. And one of the questions I actually asked Joe was about England, and did he still get the buzz for playing for England? And also what it was like getting that first. I mean, he had about over 50, 56 caps, I think. What was it like playing for England? What was it like getting called up for the first time?
It's like the end of the line.
Yeah.
It's like every kid's dream is to play for England. Like, it still holds that weight. You know, there's something very significant about representing your country. And it's just the day, you know, I played my debut against Mexico, and it was like, if the world would have stopped then, I'd have been a happy man, you know, just to pull that shirt. And that was from the age of 10 to the age of 19 when I made my debut. That was my goal. Play for England, play for England, play for England. And it was just.
And then did you still get the buzz every time? You know, every time you got the call up, like, for the next 50 odd times. Yeah.
It's like anything. You do get used to things. You know, you do like anything. You know what I mean? Like, do something for the first time. It's always the best.
And there's a lot more of that to come. As I said, you guys, it's one of my most favourite interviews I've ever done, I think, and I wouldn't want you to miss it, because we talk about everything. We talk about, obviously, coming into the, you know, being a relatively late bloomer. We talk about Man United coming in from before he signed for West Ham. We talk about signing for West Ham professional. We talk about, you know, his first Premier League goal, his debut. We talk about the pressure of being Joe Cole. We talk about, you know, the pressure of and what it was like to play with the likes of Di Canio and Neil Ruddock and John Moncur. And we talk about, obviously, England. We talk about leaving West Ham. We talk about the relegation year. We talk about how he felt then, leaving for Chelsea. We talk about coming back to West Ham under Big Sam. We talk about his My Hammers 11. He spent a lot of time on his My Hammers 11. Oh, we talk about getting back into the management, you know, getting back into the game. Did he want to be a manager? We talk about, you know, England, you know, playing for England. We talk about, you know, loads of stuff. It's brilliant. I mean, I will say that, but I think it's really, really good. And so hopefully you enjoy it too. And we talk about Europe, you know, covering Europe, you know, going, you know, with Carlton Cole and you know, West Ham's sort of European campaign, and what it was like for him to be in that night in Prague as someone who's, you know, been at West Ham for, you know, 10 years or so, you know what I mean? So, check that all out. That'd be really good. Anyway, have a great rest of the day. And come on, England, and we'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.